What it do, what it do? It's your boy DJ Nova Fresh, and this is Lightning Strike Podcast. We are kicking it here with the main homie, the main DJ, everybody's favorite DJ. Who we got?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? It's your boy A Brodie for Lightning Strike Podcast, and we are here on this thirsty Thursday. I ain't got nothing to drink today, man. I'm slacking.
I got water, bro.
We supposed to be getting to it, especially for these trying times. But we also joined today with a special guest, my man Jake. What's going on with you, man? Thank you for joining us. How you feeling?
I'm feeling excited, boys. Thank you guys so much for bringing me up on here. This is an awesome setup. I love the lightning bolts. I'm feeling I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling juiced up, man. Bolting it up all the way. So I'm excited about this. This was the better part of free agency today, so I can't wait to get into it.
Yes, sir.
Now, free agency word, bro. It's like if you're a Charger fan right now, free agency is like a trigger word. Definitely a trigger word, bro. Man, we just gonna jump into it. We're gonna jump into it. Jake, start us off, man. What you got, Jake?
So, I mean, truthfully, this has been it's been the kind that if people didn't understand the method of madness to Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh, is you're starting to see that. Because this is practically about the same way we felt about this last year in our offseason. And it was the first year because it was trying to establish a culture that needed to be put together since the team left San Diego. And they haven't been able to get a strong enough culture where this team can now start to compete. Once you got that, they get a lot of these guys that were on the one-year prove-it deals to see exactly whether these guys are worth the money that either they stay or they go and get paid somewhere else. Or these were guys that are worth, these were guys that you were worth experimenting on for even another year. So to see that happen last year, and with the roster build of what it was, I called this before the season started. I felt like because this team altogether, not just the roster construction, not about just, having Justin Herbert or anything of that matter, but because having Jim Harbaugh and knowing his coaching scheme, and then having his right-hand man with Jesse Mitchell, this team was possibly going to go 11-6, 10-7. And we saw that happen and come into fruition last year. So the way that roster construction, think about it. If we went 11-6, and that felt like our floor last year, imagine what this will look like this year. So coming into this, what we needed. We needed to fill in and get playmakers. We needed to get guys that were willing to defend the inside interior for Justin Herbert to give him enough time. We got the tackles now. And then on top of it, as far as defense, Jesse Minter is going to be picky and choosy with the guys that he's going to get and develop and build them to where these are guys that are going to be worthy of their paydays. And that's where you're starting to see this kind of come more into fruition with this offseason.
Oh, for sure. I'm more upset for myself is the lack of interior offensive line. That's all I want to address, bro. I don't care about, it would have been great if we got DK Metcalf or Devontae Adams or T. Higgins. That would have been amazing. What I really, truly care about, and Brodie cares about it too, is to build a wall to protect Justin. Everybody's seen, every Charger fan knows those three people in the middle of the interior of the offensive line is our weakest point. In order for us to be any remotely competitive, we got to replace those guys, period.
Yes. Yeah.
Period. And it just sucks that I haven't seen it. And then they're so tight-lipped, man. Those two are so tight-lipped that you usually, like in this such a big market like this, with all the reporters covering and everybody that lives in LA, somebody would give us some whispers, some sprinkles of, hey, they're looking at this guy or they're looking at this guy. But we don't get that. We don't get any of that. We get speculations that we create. Oh, we got the money, so we're going to get DK. We got the money, we're going to get Devontae, and we get none of them. I don't even think we even talk to them.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard part is because when you look at a lot of these receivers, and I think this is also too, where this was a conflicting matter of last season. Think about this. Last year, the teams that had high-end wide receiver talent, what was their records last year? They were in the losses, more in the loss column than they were in the wins. So what that told you is that just because you have a high talented wide receiver, like let's take, for instance, the Dolphins last year that missed the playoffs. You got Tyreek Hill and you've got Jalen Waddle, and you've also got a couple of other talented pieces, but yet your quarterback was hurt and you missed the playoffs. And then the other thing, you watched the Seahawks get as close as they did with DK Metcalf, and yet they missed playoffs. So it's like there's some of those things that having a very over-the-top, high-talented receiver, sure, it's good and all. And I look at it this way. Jim Harbaugh's mentality is this. It's not a sport car Lamborghini that you're driving all the way down up on the freeway like somewhere up at South Beach. Warm weather, it's fast, and I look flashy up on this. And then I live here in Denver, Colorado, unfortunately, in donkey country, where I am dealing with snow. I'm dealing with altitude.
That's right.
I'm dealing with, mountains. And I drive a Toyota Tacoma. Why? Because it's reliable and it's durable. That's the mentality Jim Harbaugh is he's all about your best ability is availability, and you're durable. You're longer lasting. So watching these wide receivers kind of come and go, sure, it sucks because we would love to envision, Justin Herbert with the rocket arm that he has.
I just want somebody to catch it. Like,
that was talking about Greg Roman, said that his style and scheme of offense is what drives a lot of receivers away because they don't like it. And this is why we've held the accountability to Greg Roman, because we know he's all about run first, and doesn't even focus on passing. Like, it's more about like little small dump offs and check downs over to Will Dissly and all this other stuff. But that's why it's like you don't have the overpowering offense. And that's why last year almost made me reminisce of why we let go of Shane Steichen as the offensive coordinator, because he knew how to handle that.
Yeah.
This kind of process is like, I think they value so much of this draft for whatever reason, because they're going to go and get their guys. And these are guys that are going to be on rookie deal. If you watch what the Eagles do, the Eagles front load so much on their drafted talents, even up on defense, that it saves them, it buys them time, that if you got enough compensation picks, you could go and trade and go and get somebody with the amount of money and the value that you have and make a run at it. And I think that's exactly what they focused on. Build the depth, because you know what? It's better to go with than without. And we've seen this team go without for so many years, and how many times has that kind of shot us in the foot?
Yeah. Definitely, man. Like, I'm with you 100%. I just need to see that O-line. I just need to see across my ticker, across my notification, signed, not extend, unless it's Slater. Unless I see an extension for Slater, that's the only extension I'm looking for. These other guys, like, they're expendable to me.
Yeah.
And because they didn't prove their worth. Zion Johnson showed glimpse. Trey Pipkins, if you keep him because he's versatile. You can plug him at a tackle position. You know what I'm saying? Bozeman, I was just baffled by that. But what I think it is that you got a backup piece with him. But just go get somebody, man. They got Jenkins available from the Bears.
Chicago. I just seen David Andrews got released. He's another one that's actually a very good pivotal piece.
Yes, a cornerstone that can, to me, I get it. If you want to go play the draft, but what I'm scared about when you play the draft is putting these young guys in there too early, and they don't get the curve to develop. They don't get to go into training camp and prepare with veterans and see how you prepare through training camp, see how you work through, learn your matchups, and learn how to overcome adversity. If you throw them in there, they got nobody to learn from. They're teaching themselves, and that's not a good thing for young guys, because once their confidence is gone in the NFL, once it's gone, it's never coming back, because now you're just going to get destroyed. Coach is going to bench you, put you at the back of the bench. You never get to live up to your potential. So sign some of these guys on a prove-it deal, some of these veterans, to usher along these pieces that's going to be there forever.
Yeah, 100%.
Brodie, what you got? Brodie living in his Zen era right now. He's like,
what is our level of panic? That's
my level of panic right now. This is Thursday, and you said I can panic. Like, I'm at a 7 right now. I'm at a 7 panic. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 7 right now.
I'm maybe the opposite. I'm pretty much at like a 3.
You at a 3? I'm only on
the Zen side. See?
So hold on. I'm only panicking because of the interior line. I'm not panicking about nothing else. I'm just panicking about the trenches. That's it, bro. I'm with you. I don't care about
panic, like, nonetheless.
It would be nice to get a top name receiver that we know can do work, because we got We got a young kid with QJ, and QJ is magnificent once he catches the ball. He's not magnificent on the deep ball. It's just not his game.
He's not a go
He
up and
doesn't
get a receiver.
Yeah, even though he has every tool in his arsenal to do it. He's 6'4". He got a 42-inch vertical. He got everything to be a jump ball receiver, but he is not in his mindset. He's not built like that. He's not fighting off the cornerback. So he's one of those guys you go a 5-yard slant and he can get you 15, 20 yards off of it.
Yeah, or you go in like a bootlegger special where you literally get a quick pass right over to whether the left or right side, and you get him to allow him to cut inside. And yet some of these tacklers, it's hard to tackle him because his yards after the catch ability is stupid ridiculous.
Yeah. He has, if he can overcome his inconsistency, he will be a valuable piece. Especially, he's just not an X. He's just not an X. It's just, and there's no knock against him. I think he's playing out of position. So if we go get a X that can handle the deep ball, handle the long passes that open up from having a strong run game, because you built the wall, because we're going to need that for Najee Harris. That's the knock against Najee Harris, is he's not a J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins created 907 yards from scrimmage.
Exactly.
We're not going to get that from Najee Harris. Najee Harris has to have a good offensive line for him to get his 1,000 yards.
Yeah, and, when I look at this interior offensive line, yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because it's like we've seen Jabari Salyer literally come in and do the work. Like, we've seen him do as much as he possibly can, especially more on the right side. But it's like, I agree with you. And it's one of those things that, like, even if you get just one guy as a 1-year prove it, because the whole point of this is, and it's like we talked about earlier before coming on here, was imagine if we were back in the position again where we were in the second round and we were choosing between Jackson Powers-Johnson and Ladd McConkey. Like, the way that this interior O-line looks like, you would have screamed JPJ all day. But you couldn't pass up the talent on Ladd McConkey. It's just,
and they hit a home run with it.
Yeah.
He really salvaged what we have with receiving. Like, he was the receiving core. He was the only consistent one in the receiving core. And that like says a lot. Will Disley crapped the bed.
But did
like
what he needed
game.
to, as far as, short merchant checkdowns as much as he possibly could. I never saw anything out of Hayden Hurst. Like, he was just one that just like, we signed him, let him go. And in the same time, we spent an entire year wasting our time with DJ Chark. Why?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that I know Charger fans felt a certain type of way about. But it was because this experiment is, you have a 1-year prove it. Prove to us that you come in, you do the work, and we'll transform you to be the most potential productive player, or you're going to be somebody that's just going to be cut short and you're not even going to be coming back. You'll probably be a practice squad body, and so that's why, like, when you get these 1-year prove-its, you got to come in and do the work. And so the interior offensive lines, if we get Tevin Jenkins or we get Mekhi Becton or somebody in there to at least get the interiors, that now pushes our mindset that interior O-line we're going to find in the draft, because now we have a veteran guy that can help.
Exactly. That can just be that bridge. That can just be that 1-year bridge to get the young guy prepared, up to speed, and ready to take over. And I'm 100% on board with that. Joe, just go get it for us, Joe. You killing me with these little small signings of these random people. Like, these random people. Naquan Jones. Okay. Deshaun Hand. Okay.
You don't know Naquan?
No, I don't. I don't know Naquan. I'm not going to even lie.
Tell you what, though.
I don't even.
He better improve, actually, from the last 2 seasons with Arizona. And and you know what? Like, at least we have Tier Tart. That's the one thing that I'm like, okay, if you're going to bring in Naquan Jones, then at least you have Tier Tart. So, because think about it. Who did anybody know who Poona Ford was before Poona Ford came here? Like, he was around in Seattle, sprinkling him in a little bit in Buffalo, and even Buffalo even regrets of, man, we should have used him differently.
Yeah.
Now,
he actually, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now it's like he comes off of a very impactful year with the Chargers and he gets a 3-year deal with the Rams. So it's like, he did the work.
Yeah. Want to open up the phone lines, Brodie?
I got you. We got people waiting. Lightning Strike Podcast 213 433-7793. If you guys want to call, leave a message, we'll play it, or we'll punch you in live on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. For our TikTok community, about to start letting y'all get your vents off, because I know that's all it's going to be. Let's see who we got first. We got C joining us. Yo, Lightning Strike P. What's happening? That might be you, sound engineer.
Oh, yeah, that's on me. Go ahead. Lightning Strike P, go.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. But I don't know how to feel about Ortiz this offseason.
Why you say that?
You know, he made a lot. I think he did really good with what he had last year. Like, really impressive. And like, honestly, I'd say it's like an A- offseason last year. But when we have as much money as we do, and we're kind of losing more guys that we're signing, like Puna Ford was such an impactful DL last year. Like, I would have been okay giving him the $10 million a year. You know, I just think he's letting too many, and like, you know, we're signing some good guys, but we're losing more people than we're signing with as much money as we have. That's what's making me feel weird.
I see what you're saying. It's maybe a little high, but I see what you're saying. He's a system guy, and he worked in the system that you had. Why not bring him back instead of signing new guys into your system? I can see that.
Of the remaining free agents that's left, who would you like us to go after?
I would like Keenan back. Just, I feel like maybe nostalgia, but also I still feel like him and Ladd could probably tear up the inside a lot. I think we need another receiver, whether it's somebody like smaller, like Diggs too. I like Diggs a lot. I think Diggs could be a really nice addition. Yes? What do you get signed by?
I think Cowboys.
I'm a fine all right now.
But I think we need a target guard really heavily, whether it's in the draft. You know, I didn't want to go into the draft having to go O-line first round, but I think we might have to at this point. Whether, you know, for Colston, Loveland, first round, or we want to go for a guard or center. It's not a big.
I want to go. If we don't address this interior offensive line in the free agency, I want to go them first round. I don't even care about a tight end, because Justin ain't gonna have a chance to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just be real. Like, we can go get all the receiving, great pass catching tight ends, great receivers, great running backs. But if you got no line to run behind and no line to throw behind, and it's just going to be the same repeat of what we did.
Yeah.
Not even worse, because Justin, he pulled his pants up for 4 games and struggled through an ankle injury, all because he was getting blasted because our O-line wasn't blocking.
Yeah.
Definitely don't need to do that again, man, because all it takes is in this league is one good hit and he's on the cart out of there, and we're just looking as fans like, we know, man, this is it, bro. Like,
and it's just like you're trying to force these defenders to go outside with Alt and Slater there, but it's like they're figuring out, hey, if we attack them on the interior, they're not going to be able to have the defense. Because think about it this way, how many times has Steve Spagnuolo put in like corner safety blitzes all the time? Because it's like once those holes open, somebody is going to honestly end up attacking right up into the middle, and then that's where Justin has no time to throw.
Exactly.
Colston Loveland, or you maybe end up going and getting potentially Kenneth Grant, depending on it. But it just has to come from the remainder of free agency of what Joe Ortiz does. I know it's like a lot of Charger fans want to hit the panic mode, but I just say don't give up on this project initially just yet. There's something because it's like it's teetering so much, because it's like something is about to happen. I don't know when. You know what I mean? Because everybody's waiting on what is going on with Dallas Goedert, what's going on with Mark Andrews. What is the deal? Mm-hmm. You know, it's like we're waiting on this thing, and nothing has been proven out there.
I was like, we should have addressed guard really heavily. Even if it was like one signing, I would have made me feel so much better. Center, guard, it doesn't matter. But I don't like the feeling that we're kind of stuck if we don't get a tight end. Like, we have to go after Andrews or Goddard, like agent. Instead, we could have got Will Fries, and then we could have drafted Loveland or Warren and get a young guy. I think Kenneth Grant may be off the board now with the D-line signings today. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I would still love him as a pick because I think he's going to be a really good. I think he's going to be a really good player in the league. I can't grasp what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Well, that's why you get paid the big bucks, to be mysterious.
Yeah.
And everything. We as fans, we're always going to gravitate toward the names, right? As fans, we see the names and we always think the name is what it is. And we have to see schemes. We have to see the fit. We got to make sure that person is the personality that they want in the locker room. Because at the end of the day, you can be a great player like Terrell Owens, but if you can't cut it in a locker room, nobody wants to play with you. Like, it's only so long people are going to put up with your attitude before they get you out of here. Antonio Brown, hell of a player. Probably would have been a Hall of Famer had he kept his screws tight, but the guy was just a cancer to a team. Amazing on the field. He will produce, give you everything he have on the field, but it's the off the field stuff that you just couldn't deal with. Teams couldn't deal with.
Yeah.
So I think they're just getting the guys that's right for them. But I see offensive linemen and interior defensive linemen different than everybody else. I don't care about name. I care about production. And the guys that are coming off the board are producers. You know what I'm saying? Even Streif in his old age at 35, like good linemen can last till about 38. That's just, you can't teach the techniques that they have learned over the years, right? And the skills that they have learned. So I just hate seeing those good prospects, even if in their old age, go off the board when we can bridge that gap to the younger generation. I just need Joe to get the young guy. The guys, man. Joe, just give me some interior linemen and I'll shut up.
Exactly. You got any final thoughts, my boy?
Trust in Harbaugh. You know, that's my mentality. I trust Harbaugh. You know, I know, you know, even if I didn't really know who Ortiz was, you know, Harbaugh wanted Ortiz. So, and last offseason was a really good sample size of what a GM like him can do. So he made all these little signings like he did last year. Like Christian Fulton, I knew who he was, but I didn't think he was going to be like start of the year. He was great. He got injured, played bad. But, you know, when he was playing at the start of the year, he was great. You know, Puna Ford, Tier Tart, all good signings. Elijah Mooden, you know, I didn't know who he was.
Diamonds in the rough.
Exactly, yeah. So that's going to be my mentality, just, you know, watching and waiting and to see what we do come draft. I think we have to target the interior line in the first round now.
Got no choice if we don't sign nobody. Free agency still goes on all the way to training camp, but...
I like the Najee signing a lot. I think we should bring back JK as a second and then probably draft a guy in the second or third. I think that should be the plan.
I don't want no running back. I wouldn't mind bringing JK back.
Good though.
But we got two other running backs on the roster. Two young guys. I think
JK is going to get injured. I hope he doesn't because I love JK. But, you know, he's kind of bound to get injured at some point. You know, Najee's really consistent, but he's just not that's the guy. You know, he's a really good running back. I think if we draft a young guy, like some guys like Judkins, Amari Hampton, like, these guys could be like, you know, the next Saquons or like the next like Nick Chubbs, you know.
Najee's just not a home run hitter. Amazing pass catcher, amazing running back, durable, get yards after the contact, but he needs a lot to get going.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, but him and JK, I think a backfield with him and JK and the two guys that we got on the roster, like Haskins he's shown that he's phenomenal in the pass game, and he's a decent runner. I just think that him and Kamani they need more touches. They need more touches. Like instead of if we do bring J.K. Dobbins back, I don't think that we need to draft any quarter or any running back unless we're going to get rid of one of these guys that we got on the roster. Because it's just to carry 5 running backs going into the season. I mean, that's kind of
all right. See,
yeah. Bring out Brendan Rice. I want to see Brendan Rice this year.
He got to learn the playbook. Apparently,
I know that's the problem, but you know I hope he can. I see so much potential. He can be such a good. I got a feeling from him. So yeah, you guys have a great night.
You too, my man. Thanks for tapping in.
Alexis say who's a good receiver the Chargers can get?
No, we don't get that call.
I think Keenan Allen would be a good fit. Because you'll get your first down merchants. Like, how did the Patriots end up doing this thing with Julian Edelman and with Danny Amendola? These were guys that were death by 1,000 cuts type of receivers that were first down merchants, and these were guys that kept possession on our side. You know, so if you paired that up with both of them who have fantastic route trees, And then when you got someone just like what they brought back Mike Williams to go up and get it receiver, then you could take that shot downfield knowing Mikey Dub's going to end up catching it. And even if it's an over the shoulder, and it moves you even closer into the, the red zone. So I wouldn't be mad at that. Everybody, what my thought on Cooper Kupp is, he's just like Ladd McConkey, only except he's older. So it's like you already know we have the slot type receiver that can make those routes. Why do we need another one?
Exactly. That's why I say we're stuck on a name. When it comes to Cooper Kupp at this age and what his production is, it's just a name. He's a shell of what he did. But like you said, he is Ladd McConkey, an older version of Ladd. Like he set the mold for what Ladd is. Elderman created it. Cooper Kupp perfected it. And now you have Ladd that's going to hit the home run. That's going to be the star of it.
Yeah, and a lot of the backlash on that was, well, because they had Tom Brady. I'm like, take Tom Brady out of the equation. Like let's take the name off of it. Any quarterback, if you got a receiver with that kind of route tree and quality effectiveness to get open, you don't think you're going to want to throw his way once he's already created that for you? That is like the recipe of success right there for any quarterback to have, is a best friend like that in a receiver.
This route tree is ridiculous, man. He is like an ankle breaker. He's an Allen Iverson version of a receiver. He's breaking ankles out there. You're not handling them one-on-one. No linebacker can cover him in the slot. No safety can cover him in the slot, and damn sure no receiver, because he's just big enough. I mean, a cornerback. He's just big enough to manhandle the cornerback.
And you able to pull up the voicemail?
Yeah, I got the voicemail.
Yo, what's up, Lightning Strike Podcast? Yeah, it's a very weird free agency, especially under Ortiz. The interior line is kind of dookie, honestly. I would definitely would love if they would go after at least one or guards or center. There's still Will Hernandez. There's still, Mekhi Becton. Centers, I know that I believe the Patriots are going to release their guy, Andre James from the Raiders. Honestly, anybody would be, I believe, some sort of upgrade with the current guys that we have on the interior line. I do agree that going after some interior linemen early in the draft can, sometimes ruin them regarding like they don't really learn under veterans. Besides those interior linemen, honestly, like wide receivers would be also cool at some point, but I feel like, teams win Super Bowls and playoff games in the trenches on the offensive line. Example, the Chiefs, they had a pretty solid O-line. The Bears went bonkers in free agency with offensive linemen. So, yeah, I mean, it is frustrating, but I mean, as Charger fans, we sort of should get used to this type of thing. TT did the same damn thing. So at this point, hold up, guys, and let's hope for the best in the next couple of days.
For sure, man. I think everybody's starting to interior line. Everybody's starting to see the urgency and the need for the interior line. Because if you watch the Chargers, you will understand that, like, yeah, we need an interior line like bad. Like last night. End of the season, we should already had the pieces that we wanted. But I trust in Ortiz and I trust in Harbaugh. Hey, they took us from 5-12 to 11-6.
I say again, what's our level of panic? Drop in the chat what your level of panic is.
Right on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm sitting at a 7 because I just see these linemen going off the board, and I'm just looking at the linemen we have outside of the bookends.
Level of panic. Chargers
outside of Slater and Alt.
2025.
Like,
I'm only at a 3 only because knowing of the team making these low radar moves are the teams you should be afraid of during free agency, because there's some sort of move that's going to come up at some point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm only sitting there for the time being. And the longer that this does stall, maybe it does kind of climb up a bit.
No, we got a Chief on. Did you switch it back to
Yeah, I'm coming. I had to I don't know what happened with that. Something got stuck on there. But the Commanders are blowing it up.
In yours?
I can hear it. I'm in there now.
Yo, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, we got you. What's going on?
Yo.
Like podcast.
Yeah, you got me.
Yep, I got you. What's going on? Lightning Strike Podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Hey, I just wanted to say this as far as not just a Chiefs fan, but as an AFC West fan, I can say this, just pump brakes. I trust Harbaugh. I do. I think he's going to lead y'all down the right way. Y'all see the turnaround he gave you. You'll be fine.
Those are some words of encouragement.
Yep, Chief knows. I
know.
give
Words
him
of
on a tail.
encouragement.
He's one
Chief knows.
He's one of my favorites. That's
talk
on
to-
my
I talk to
daily
him-
show all the time.
Definitely.
Issues with what they're doing as far as seeing it as you guys trying to better yourselves. The only thing is I will agree with what your fan base is saying and what you guys are saying. Interior line. Because, as of 6 days ago. Hello. Shut up.
Sound engineer.
Hold on.
Engineer. Blink
Let it
twice
back.
if you've
Sound
been invaded.
engineer.
If you've been compromised, bro, just wave your hands. You too, my man. Have a good night. You too, my man. Have a good night.
too, man. Yep.
Bring me up on the screen, Brodie. Getting that echo in there. But I'm still excited for this season, man. I just wish we could hit the fast forward button. I really wish I could just sit down with Joe and Jim and be like, what's your method to madness, bro? Like,
Right.
do y'all like to have us sitting up here stressed? Do you like to do that to us? Do you like
Let's
that,
get
Jim?
the blood pressure going.
Yes.
Man,
Right.
I'm not gonna
Who
lie,
wants
bro.
us
These
to feel with what Jim Harbaugh felt the week we were in Denver. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
this is intense, man. Because it's like you think about the injuries, right? I go back to this season with the injuries. Shanti Samuel was a healthy scratch
Yeah.
for the whole after like week 9 or something. He was back. He was ready to play, and he didn't play the whole season. And it's like, why? You never heard why. Same thing with DJ Chalk. DJ Chalk, he was kind of forced to play. After Palmer went down and Rieger, Jalen. After they went down, they were kind of forced to play DJ. But again, he was a healthy scratch. But you never heard why. Like, dang, give us something. Most teams will tell you, like, hey, the guy's available. He's not playing because he got into it in the locker room, or he got into it with the coach, or he can't remember the playbook, or something like that. It's none of that. Like, no things leak out this locker room.
I think that's a positive.
It is. It is a positive. It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse.
I think that's a positive. Means if everybody just had access to our business, then
I mean, as fans, we want to know why. Why is Brandon Rice? I mean, he seems healthy. Why is he not playing? Oh, he doesn't know the playbook. And it took for us having somebody that covers the Chargers to tell us, nah, man, that dude just don't know the playbook. That's why he's not playing.
there always has to be a reason why. I think because knowing Harbaugh, because he always surprises us with something, it's part of like his method that there's something in the works that doesn't want to be leaked out because maybe that project has not really finalized itself yet, which is why even with Brendan Rice, because a lot of people, like I've even had people ask me of like, dude, he's been on the LTIR for a long time. Why? And I'm like, I know he's not hurt, but I think part of that reason was roster availability. And at the same time, I know he was going through a lot of the off-season work with his dad because his dad was going to train him with a lot of the route runnings, trees, and then a lot of just his overall ability. So maybe there must be something that we might see this preseason that Brendan Rice might come out and actually showcase what he's made of. So there's some of those things that I do believe that it's better to be in the unknown of whatever may come out of this because it could be a positive, it could be a negative. But then there's some of it that, like all of us that do get impatient of like, well, I can't really bank on that unless I actually do have a resource.
Thursday,
Yeah.
I should be able to
Yeah.
panic.
Yeah.
I can tell you like kind of talking about the draft for a minute.
Yeah.
So USC had their pro day and it was horrible. The results were horrendous, but USC did it to themselves. And you can kind of see why USC went 7-6 when you look at the results from the pro day. You can go, I know why you went 7-6. But they shot themselves in the foot by not having an indoor facility. As much money as USC has in endowments, have in alumni, you don't have an indoor practice facilities. You end up, it never rains in California until it rains in California, Southern California. And it rained during that pro day. So you already know the numbers are going to be bad. Like nobody ran anything less than I think the fastest time was a 4.56 by Woody, the running back. That's not what you want to see. That's not what you want to put on paper.
Right. So think about it now when you have the new facility in El Segundo. Now you have the time where you're learning the playbook, and then you've worked more on your craft. That now having that time and being up and in the facility as much as the time spent, now maybe we might actually see a different version of Brendan Rice this year.
Yep. I hope so, man. I do hope so, that because I would like to see what he has the height, he has the genes. Let's put it together, man, and let's rock. Let's rock out. So
See what my boy got.
let's go, bro. Shout out Lawrence, man. Lawrence hitting us up on Facebook, man. He said, "Let's go, Brandon."
Have you guys seen the latest signing so far? I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
You like Deshaun Hand?
I do like Deshaun Hand. I think what it is this is about the similar experiment that we did with Puna Ford and Tahir Tart. I mean, because Tart was so underrated, and especially when he came from a pedigree in Tennessee where under Vrabel was able to take these guys that were like on the lowest of lows of depth charts and was able to get them to play into like A-rated games. So it's like you get Deshaun Hand, you get Daquan Jones, and I think, what they're going to try to do, obviously on 1 year prove-it years, they're going to try to, experiment this, because I think what this is that this is more of a testament to Jesse Minter being the architect. Here's
the problem I have with it. This is our last year with Jesse. This is our last year with him. Like, I don't see them letting him go another year without him getting snatched up for a head coaching job. The only reason why he snaked by last year, because this is his first year ever coaching in the NFL. But I don't see year two, him having a successful year two and him staying with the Chargers beyond year two.
I think that Tampa game was what kept him there. Because remember how Tampa Bay came around in the second half and just literally obliterated this defense? I think that was the safe zone for Minter. Like, oh no, he's staying for another year.
The come back down to earth moment for people.
Right.
To be like, oh, he's human.
Yeah.
He's human.
Yep.
But it's going to be hard to keep him after next year, I think. If we get a third year out of him, we're blessed.
100%, because that just tells you the job's not finished. And we know that Harbaugh, harps on him being the next head coach, and which is why I think when you get a lot of these, like Benjamin St. Juste, and you get, these Deshaun Hands, and you get these, Naquan Jones, then
Belichick type signings. This sounds like a Bill Belichick type of move.
It's an architect to build, because who are you going to benefit a lot more, right? Are you going to benefit when it comes to constructing a defense like this, the player, the worker, or the architect who's putting together this type of defense to make the players work very well under the system? I mean, the architect is very valuable.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to keep Fulton, because lack of better words, he did with the deep coverage. Yeah, he was expendable on the outside, but when they put him in a nickel position, the dude played lights out. That was his that motto, and he can tackle. Like, it's so hard to find a cornerback that can come up on run support and tackle, and that likes to do it. And he did that effectively, and he parlayed it into a good deal for himself with the Chiefs.
Yeah. And I think, with this kind of build, because you also got to take into account of who we're building up now, where you've got Tarheeb Still, who's a very good man-to-man, one-on-one type of guy that's going to go and try to contest a lot of these plays. And he's also he's very good at just being like being the spotter in the corner. When that ball's in the air, he's going to go and grab it, so especially even in that play that sealed the deal against the Atlanta Falcons, he's just sitting there waiting for that play to just come right up his way, and he's going to take it away. And then you also got Cam Hart, who's very physical. I mean, you talk about Notre Dame, very physical program.
He came up and he come up on run support and knock some helmets loose.
Yeah, he did.
With Jackson signing, I like Jackson because Jackson is a gambling type of corner with the speed to gamble.
Yes.
He can recover just when you think you have him. He can game you and come and take the ball on, especially on underneath routes.
And I think that's why I think they valued this more than Christian Fulton, because of, like we said, with those types of zone sets. Because at least with Dante Jackson, you've seen it with the 5 interceptions he's had, and he's willing to go on those contested plays or even the underneath routes. But Could we trust him as a physical corner? No, but we have those that serve that role. So that allows him to go and even go up against some of these speedsters. So it's like, I think it's perfect.
You could put him in an underneath zone and he could just come out of nowhere, snatch the ball. Yep. Definitely, man. Definitely. They make sense. I got to just realize that the signings make sense. But I just need you to sign a line, bro.
That's it. I will tell you, though, I'm very happy that we brought back Taylor Heineke. I'm very happy we did. Because how long were we ever going to last with Easton Stick? I just was like, why are we keeping this dude around? You might as well have Billy Volek unretire and literally, coming back up Justin Herbert for all I care. But it's like, at least with Taylor, he's competent enough that if something were to happen to Herbert, we've seen him go toe-to-toe against the GOAT. We've seen him play a competitive quality role in spurts. And I think that was why I was like, the value presented itself with Taylor Heineke. That's why I was like, I'm glad we got him. And even if you go and you get, like, even with these quarterbacks with the value that they're at, even if you get somebody even on the tail end, just to be a body and even just compete more in the practice squad, then that's something that I think would be entertaining to watch. Because it's like, who are you going to trust that if all else falls, that if Herbert gets into a significant injury, then how are we going to recover from that?
I think the whole world would, my world would come crashing down.
The sky would fall.
I would be in tears.
Oh.
We got Caden on the top.
Let's go, Caden.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good things, just because I know I was on here yesterday as well. Yeah. Or the day before, I'm not sure.
Welcome back.
Thank you. In the draft, what are the Chargers, like, I know we need O-line and wide receiver. I think we're going to draft an O-line or wide receiver. Like, who, like, I don't know who we're going to draft. Like, do you have any idea?
If we draft a receiver, it's going to be probably in the 4th or 5th round.
So you don't think like a first round wide receiver?
No, I think they're going to go trench work, the edges and the O-line in the first 3 rounds, because this is where they're going to get their most bang for the buck. And then you're going to start seeing the genius of the organization of Jim Harbaugh and Joe and Jesse start picking their strategic pieces in the 4th through 7th round.
Because we got Wad in like what, the 5th round?
Second.
Way off, but and then like not first, but
we got still in the 6th round, I think it was.
Still was actually in the 5th round along with Cam Hart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's where your money's at. That's where your real scouting comes in, because the first 2 rounds, 1 through 3, those guys, everybody scouted them. You can go look at a millions film, but the 4th through 7 guys are the ones that you go dig through tapes, dig through boxing crates, and those are your little pieces, the dudes that come from Hofstra. Nobody heard, like, who the hell is this guy?
The guys that come from nowhere that are the best guys on your team.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Isn't it funny though? Like what was the knock that we had on Tom Telesco for years? Like rounds 1 through 3, you found the talents, right? And then by 4 through 7, he folded so bad, where it's like our depth pieces weren't even strong enough that could carry the load if all else failed. Whereas like you start to see Joe Ortiz, and I know how some Charger fans feel about this in this moment, but look at the difference of our depth now from the 4th through 7th. It's actually higher quality now, because these are some guys that are not on the spotlights a whole lot. These are also guys that are hidden gems. This is what's infamous for guys like Howie Roseman to do what he does with the Philadelphia Eagles, and even for Les Snead of the Rams to find these guys. So I could see the change of quality, and it even goes back to a point of, even with bringing back Mike Williams. And if you bring back Keenan Allen, here's the deal about this. We get a chance to see, hypothetically, these two, because we've seen them without the quality depth under Tom Telesco, and we'll get a chance to see them with the quality depth under Joe Ortiz. And then you watch the difference. Quite possible.
I would love for them to sign Keenan Allen. I feel like, do you think they're really going to sign him? Or I feel like
if the price is right.
The price is right.
I think right now it's just like kind of left up to, you're in the scraps now. So do you keep avoiding it, or do you just go ahead and sign him and know somebody that knows the organization, knows the system, knows the guys? Everybody loves him. Everybody likes him. and you just plug him in. And I think you could plug Keenan Allen, even with his age, I think he's still valuable. He brings that.
He had some really good plays this year, even though he didn't get a whole lot of yards, receiving yards. But he like when he got those yards. What do you think about Cooper Kupp? Do you think there's any chance of him going to the Chargers or not at all?
I don't. We just discussed it. I don't see him a fit for him in the organization. Like him and Ladd, same thing. Same time. And you can't. Can he play the X? He can play the X, but will he be effective? No, I don't think so, man.
Especially with
the injury he has.
Yeah, he's just to me, I see Kupp if he's on the outside, I don't think he does well in small spaces. He's a small space type. Because he's so shifty. You don't really get a shifty guy that's an X. You get a big body that can high point the ball, that is just a big target. Like Mike Evans is just, I mean, you're not going to beat Mike Evans on the deep ball, one-on-one. It's just not going to happen.
No.
And I just feel like it was a reality check for both these receivers. Because if you think about it, with the amount of injury history Mike Williams has, we were not going to spend another year paying $20 million for an injury-prone receiver. And yet goes out, you see the kind of chemistry he has with the Jets, where Aaron Rodgers calls him out, and then he goes to Pittsburgh on trade, and yet nothing's done there. And so with the chemistry that was strong with Justin Herbert, and again, injury history, call it what you will, but because with the depth of it, I think it's beneficial, because at least it doesn't seem like he's the only guy getting like the workhorse load. Whereas you look at Keenan's still capable of it, but Keenan didn't want to restructure it. I get it. He came off of a productive year and whatnot. But it was like we didn't want to be in that position either, because it was like, what if Keenan gets hurt? And then that's another $20 million now down the drain.
Yeah, that was a lot of money between the two. Definitely. Thanks, Caden, for swinging up. What you got, Caden?
I was just more.
Don't
get any more wide receivers out of free agency. Who would be our wide receiver one? Mike Williams or Vlad McClinton?
What was the question?
Well, if you met Ladd, the offense is going to go through Ladd. He's going to be the first read on everything. He's going to be the playmaker that they go through. Mike is going to be number 2, and QJ is going to be number 3 read. So
someone said Brendan Rice.
No,
thank you.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, but Ladd is going to be the first receiver. The plays are going to be called for Ladd now. He's the guy. So
he out.
He's the passing game. Everybody else will be brought in to
join. I guess a couple question marks is, what direction y'all think we going in the draft?
Offensive line, edge, and interior D line.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be what's the best available. If you get a Kenneth Grant, if you're sitting at 22 and Kenneth Grant land in your lap, you're gonna go with Kenneth Grant. I mean, you can't coach 6'5" and 300 and something pounds.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I get that for sure. And then why do you think we're being so passive with this money that we have?
I just think he's being strategic. Jake gave a great example of how Harbaugh and Joe think their mindset. They're going for quality, not quantity or names, right? They're going for quality players that's going to fit their style of play, fit the locker room, fit the organization, and guys that they can bring in to help bridge the gap until they can draft the prototypical players that they want, build them in-house, and put them out on the street. So that's what we're seeing, and we just got to be patient as Charger fans. Just believe and trust the process that regardless that we're missing out on big names, they're getting the guys that will fulfill the roles, because they did it with this team last year. I mean, nobody was checking for Poona Ford before last year. Nobody was checking for Tierra Tart before last year. Look at the jump that Davon Henley had from year 1 to year 2. Look at that jump. And part of that jump came from bringing Denzel Perryman back and bringing that leadership and that insight and help bring that linebacker core. I'm looking for Junior Colson to make a jump this year. So because of that, look at what Tua did on the defensive line. Undersized guy. Tua shouldn't be on the defensive line, but he's a tweener. He's kind of too big to play stand-up linebacker. He can play stand-up linebacker, but it's kind of too thick to play it, and he's really not an edge, but he's strong enough to play edge. And look at his development. He's going to step into a role this season too. So they're developing their guys.
Yeah, Navarro Bowman, when we got Junior Colson, was a huge advocate for that kind of thing. Because the one thing I've been harping on, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when we got Junior Colson, I was excited about this because when was the last time we ever had a linebacker who basically was reading what the quarterback does, especially when it comes to middle of the field? It's been a long time. Especially because it used to piss me off when we wouldn't find, a linebacker up there to cover when Kelsey's open or when back then Darren Waller was open. And I'm like, there's no linebacker that evaluates what the quarterback is doing and at least has a pair of eyes that doesn't take his eyes off of him if the pass is coming down the middle. But now finding that, hopefully Junior Colson, I hope that he has an entire healthy season in year 2. And this is the upbringing that Navarro Bowman was talking
about. I love to see it, man. It's exciting, man. The more we break it down and the more you think about it, it's kind of calming my nerves a little bit. Like, Jake, you calm down.
Wait on it.
I'm telling you, man. I'm like the whole side. I'm like trying to breaking it down.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about it. It's just, when I saw that 90 million, I was expecting some splashy signs and everything and just haven't seen it. So as a Charger fan, I'm kind of hesitant because we've had a front office in the past that had money that kind of give me a little bit shy with it sometimes, and then when we're on the brink of doing something great, it's like, why not sign some of these big names? We had an 11-6 season last year. We could have won the division if the damn Chiefs aren't the damn Chiefs. Yeah.
And field goes through.
Oh, man.
But you know what, though? Think about this. What did the Pittsburgh Steelers walk in with before they started spending in free agency? It was like mid-tier, wasn't it? And think about this. So you're getting a mid-tier team like the Steelers who go out and they literally trade for DK Metcalf, get exactly like the value that was on it for Seattle, and then they immediately paid him because he wanted more than $30 million. And you're looking at a guy that could potentially be a crash-out artist in a locker room that has another crash-out artist in George Pickens. So it's like, you kind of have to take into consideration of those kinds of things. And that's what's important to Jim Harbaugh, because he's not going to deal with somebody that's going to be a crash-out artist in that locker room that's going to mess up the morale of the team. And we're paying this dude a hefty amount of money, and he's over here causing problems. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, did you see what the latest that you saw from Micah Parsons today after what DeMarcus Lawrence said about the Dallas Cowboys now that he's with the Seahawks? He's already on Twitter. He's already on Twitter going on a rant. And he's like, he basically said, DeMarcus said that Dallas is my home, but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. And Micah Parsons basically comes out and says, this what rejection and envy look like. This is some clown stuff. Like, Micah, can you stop rambling your mouth, first of all, and be an impactful leader for Dallas that needs it right now? But you could see this coming to fruition. I would rather have a guy that's like Herbert that doesn't go on Twitter rants, that doesn't really, he stays quiet. He's out there fishing. He's grilling up some briskets, doing good. And I won't hear much about him because I know the leadership is strong in that. Than to have someone that's a crash-out artist that's going to do nothing but go on these Twitter rants for days and days on end.
Our podcast.
For sure. For sure. All right, guys. I appreciate you answering your questions, man. Both up.
Both up, bro. But Michael Parsons is a damn good player, though.
But I'm telling you, man, I know, you kind of have to see
what's up, man?
From the outside.
What's good, bro?
Dylan, how you? If we bring him,
and I'm a Chargers fan as well. I'm out here in Minnesota right now.
Hey, shout out to you, Minnesota.
Yeah. We gotta get some locks on the prize picks, man.
Yes, sir.
Me too.
What you guys think about bringing back Mike Williams, getting Najee, and I feel like we got St. Juice as well. What do you guys think about that move?
St. Juice is a Jesse's guy.
Yes.
So he's a big body, 6'3", big body, and I think that they're gonna play him down in a nickel position to help with run support and to keep guys like Travis Kelce. I think the development from him is going to be a Derwin James type
he's
of
a physical corner. Yeah.
They're gonna bring him in and I think Derwin James going to put his arm around him during the spring training and give him some.
Yeah, because I think when the Commanders were playing him, he was playing on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that wouldn't work
not against these big, fast wide receivers. It's too much.
This is why
against a tight end that has like 4.5, 4.6 speed, that definitely is like a lengthy guy. That
if you think about this for a second. Think about this. Yeah. Who does Denver go sign? Right? They pull the blanket from us. They get Elvin Ingram, right?
Yeah.
And who do we sign right after that? St. Juice.
Yeah.
So you have to see the chess moves. You got Elvin Ingram, a receiving tight end. So we're going to go get a big body that's going to wrestle with this guy.
And not only that, we've seen what Brock Bowers did last year.
Brock Bowers too.
In the Chiefs, like Travis Kelce is still Kelce, but he plays a different role now. And we kind of see Noah Gray almost taking over that. Obviously, we know he's nothing like Kelce, but Noah Gray still
And now they got Robert Tonyan. So I just think with Juste, like when I looked at the stats and he had the 1 year where he had 17 passes defended, that just tells you he's willing to go physical on those slot interior spots, which is, I think, is exactly why, like, that's a Jesse pick. Because we have the outside guys, especially with Tarheeb Still and even with Dante Jackson. So even if you get a physical corner to come in and rattle somebody's cage, especially if you're trying to get a first down merchant with Evan Ingram, Brock Bowers, or even with Travis Kelce, there's going to be that corner there that's going to get physical, that's going to want to force the ball out.
Because you know why? If you got the St. Juice, the 6'3" physical guy on the Elvin Ingram, on the Brock Bowers, and they're trying to get a first down, who does that free up? DJ. And what is DJ good at? Blitzing,
moving them around.
Yeah, being disruptive in the secondary, being disruptive from blitzing every angle. Now he gets to roam around because you have somebody that can cover the slots. Because it's 5 and 10, and
it's like you could show a cover 2 look, but then now you can play single high safety. You could change your whole defense and like switch it up, and it's harder to read if it's cover 2 or zero blitz, stuff like that. So I do personally, I like the Najee Harris move. I've seen that. He hasn't had the burst. Obviously he's getting older, but has he even missed a game? I think he missed a couple of games. Did he?
All 4 seasons,
missed a game.
Played
So
all 17.
And he's had over 1,000 yards in every season.
Yep.
And so I do like that, right? And the thing is this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was like middle of the pack, I'm pretty sure, ranking-wise.
About middle of the pack,
running
almost below average.
Yeah, so in the Chargers, we know for sure within the first 4 rounds, we're going to target a guard, if not in free agency. We got to get a second piece of our guard because, Zion Johnson, he's all right. We got Bozeman still. Obviously, our bookend tackles are set for basically the next 10 years, barring any, injury concerns. But, I mean, with our offensive line, that's how Jim Harbaugh wants to, make our team, just pound the rock. We've seen it against the Eagles when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. If you get up on the Chiefs, you got to get up 3-4 scores. You got to make them be uncomfortable, because if you get into this 1-score game, Mahomes just knows how to finish the game better than anyone else because he's proven it the most, right? So I think getting a guy like Najee Harris, he's almost like an off-brand mini Derrick Henry in a way.
Well, you know what I think of? The 2 players that come to mind when it comes to Jim Harbaugh getting Najee Harris? It's like a combination of Frank Gore and Marshawn Lynch. When you get someone like that that knows how to shed off tackles, the one thing that worried me about Najee Harris was the 3.5 yards a carry, because I had to ask myself, is it because his cuts, his feet work, is that the reason why that he was averaging 3.5, or is it because of the quality of the offensive line from Pittsburgh? So if I feel like that, if the Chargers address the interior offensive line somehow, some way in free agency and in the draft, could that 3.5 now turn into maybe something that could be 5.2 yards a carry on that? Because if that's the case, then that's money well spent even for a 1-year prove it of $925.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, man. And he don't fumble.
No,
he does not.
He protects the ball at all costs.
Definitely hold on.
And he can
no matter who you have at running back, you definitely want a person that's going to hold on to the ball and not, because turnovers change the game.
What Najee brings that I think we're overlooking is that check down ability for Herbert. We have a solid check down running back. In that Denver game, you seen that check down he was able to do to Haskins. When he checked down to Haskins, He got upfield, made the one tackler miss, and he was gone to the house.
Yeah.
He was gone to the house. And Najee Harris he's not a top end speed guy, but he is a run through tackle guy. He can make one person miss.
Still make plays.
Yeah.
Still make plays. He can still make people miss. He can still run through people. He's a priority to worry about. He's still a weapon to worry about. And I think the Steelers, like, I'm not saying they weren't using him right. They have Pickens and Najee Harris, but other than that, they didn't really have like another go-to guy. They have Darnell Washington. They had
Warren.
Jalen Warren.
They had Warren, yes, who could pass catch as well. But besides those two guys were the main offense, and Pickens was, I think he was almost on pace for 1,000 and he fell off, and Najee Harris
Crashed out last game of the season.
Right? The Chargers, I think, what are you guys leaning for the first round draft pick? Do you guys think another offensive line? Do you guys think that Colson Loveland? Obviously, if
they don't go interior offensive lineup in free agency, then at that point your hand is forced. You're going to want to go for that interior, but they figure that out. Then you really kind of have to think of what is a position after that we can actually find in the draft that we can replace with and build through that way, whether it could be tight end or it could be receiver, because I've been harping about Matthew Golden for a while, because that's a perfect guy with a really good route tree, great hands, and he's also somebody that is, I would say he's kind of got a little of a comparable stature to like a Amon-Ra St. Brown, because he doesn't drop the ball. He's somebody that can go contested one-on-one and could play for those shorts and even all the way to the shoulder routes. So he's expendable this way. But it just comes down to the level of talent that that you're going to want to upgrade next.
Yeah.
I say, man, if James Pierce Jr. is on the board, Kenneth Grant on the board, you gotta grab one of those guys.
I mean, and that's how Jim Harbaugh's always built his team. It's defensive line, offensive line.
That's how you're supposed to build a team.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how you win games, right? If you can't get offensive line movement through the run game or deep pressure on the quarterback, you're going to be a middle of the pack or bottom 10 team in the league. You're not going to really make it far in the playoffs. And I think it shows it in the playoffs. The playoffs will show how good your offense and defensive line were, right? The Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Commanders. I won't even say they were kind of like the exception. Like their defense wasn't even top 15, and yet they still made it to the AFC Championship game. Now, I will say they did beat the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers were kind of surprising team. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, the Lions were a really good team, but they were just banged up. So, unfortunately, I think that's kind of why that happened. Because I think if we all know, if the Lions were fully healthy, like Dan Campbell's team, like if they had their full starting defense, Aiden Hutchinson, their D-line, their full starting offense, like they're probably going to win that game.
But I think, man, it's an arms race between the Eagles and Commodores, the Commanders.
Commanders.
It's an arms race between those two right now. The Commanders are serious. They went and loaded up. They raided the O-line of the Texans, and I was surprised and shocked that the Texans got rid of Tunsil. They gave him up.
Because Tunsil wanted a 5-year extension and wanted the highest bid of money. Like he was going for somewhere that was similar to Trent Williams, and they knew that the Texans couldn't even pay that. Yeah. So that's why they wanted to trade him with the value that they have. But even they have to go through a refresh of offensive line themselves.
Yeah. They definitely just got rid of their whole line. I was surprised and shocked. I'm like, man, y'all a playoff team and y'all hitting the reset. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
The
last thing I was going to mention to you guys before I go is I do like the Mike Williams move, right? Obviously, he's played for the Chargers. He's done, he hasn't had like dominant years. Like he's had a 1,000-yard receiving season. He's had a 10 touchdown receiving season, and then he kind of almost combined, or I think he did combine the two into one season. So he's had, shown some promise in the seasons besides injuries. And with bringing him back, he's kind of an X receiver, right? Like Justin Herbert, I'm glad he has a deep threat downfield because Mike Williams could run those deep posts and really spread out the field. And with that move, so what Jake was saying is it doesn't really force our hand where we don't have to take an offense weapon. We don't have to take Genti if he's there. I mean, if he was there, we're probably taking him just because he's the best available on the board. But we don't have to take a top tight end or top wide receiver in the first round. We could we could build through our offense line and take weapons later.
It's a lot of the tight end class is deep. You can literally get a good tight end after still be on the board after the third round. There'll still be some good tight ends available after the third round. It's some steals at running back that'll still be around after the third round. Like Damian Martinez is predicted to go 5th or 6th round, and he's a pretty durable back. He didn't have the stellar year that you thought he would coming from Oregon State and playing in Miami, but he still is serviceable. He still has a lot to go. Ollie Gordon, he was a guy that was considered for Heisman. He didn't have the top year, but again, that's a steal that you can
Caleb
get after the third
Johnson
round.
from Iowa was even somebody that, like, he possesses a little bit of a bell cow type of running back situation with just his physique and the way that he has his burst of speed. With how physical that, Iowa's always known for in the Big Ten. And then even like one of my other favorite ones that's a very good steal is Devin Neal in Kansas, because he has such great outside burst, which makes it even scarier that if you let him loose up on the outsides, watch those first downs now start to happen. Like,
what do you think of Cam Scatterboo?
Cam Scatterboo, I think, to me, I mean, he is a Harbaugh guy. He truthfully, he's the modern kind of Mike Allstott type. But it's funny because it's like, even if you paired him with Najee, who are both great breakers of the tackle and goes and fights for every single yard, they don't have the greatest speed, but it's like you're putting pound for pound in to do whatever it takes to get more yards on the carry.
All right. Well, good talk with you guys.
I appreciate you swinging. Lock us in on those prize picks.
Gotcha.
Last one.
He said J.C. Jackson. He said J.C. Jackson traded to the Chargers for 3 first-round picks.
Oh.
That's a name you can't say around these parts. Where's J.C. Jackson at nowadays?
J.C. Jackson,
Yo.
not even playing right now.
What's good?
He got the money and ran.
Man, same shit, bro. I'm over here stressed out. These past couple days stressful.
Got my man going through it.
And like it's especially like the old run. Like I'm watching everybody just signing all these offensive guards and all this, and we just not doing nothing.
Well, think about it this way. How do you guys feel about Brandon Scherf? Because he's still out there.
Yeah, he's an old guy, and I still like him.
Yeah.
He's what, 35?
He's
And I still like him.
serviceable.
Like I say, he could be on a 1 or 2 year deal, prove it deal. Old vet type player, swab. He's like savvy. The only reason why he got forced out because he had younger guys. The younger guy, it's his turn to step up. So he's only on the market because he's 35, but he still has 2 to 3 years left in his tank. Why not kick the tires on that?
I'm just like, what was all this money for? We got all this money for what though?
For Slater.
I mean, you want to keep your key pieces around.
With him yet?
We got to pay Slater. We're gonna have to pay him $21 a year, up to 25 probably.
I mean, you got to ask yourself this, because I mean, we hear these questions of, we have all this money. Why are we not spending it? You got to understand this too, because this is even like, financials 101. Because would you take the risk of going and getting yourself a skilled player like, let's say, for instance, DK Metcalf, who got his money the minute
41.
Jesus Christ.
and
that part. When they was asking for that first and the third, I'm like, yeah, the first and the third plus you won $30 million a year. That was a little extra.
Yeah.
But I mean that second round, but that 150 is a little too much.
That's $41 million a year, bro. That's ridiculous.
Think about how else we could utilize that money for depth.
That's the reason why we cut it, Joey. That's the reason why we got rid of Joey Bosa. We weren't going to pay him $34 million for 4.5 sacks.
Oh, no. He hurt 24/7, 365.
That's why we had to cut him.
Well, always
because much like Mike Williams and much like Keenan Allen getting rid of those salaries, because we didn't want to end up paying $20 million for somebody who's injury prone.
Yeah, Mike, what is always an ACL?
It was everything.
We got to be in
back, ACL.
Like, yeah.
Mike needed to be in a bubble. That's all.
What you think about getting Diggs instead of Allen?
Diggs gonna ask for too much, and Diggs is not good in the locker room.
He definitely
I don't think he fits Harbaugh's system. Can Harbaugh handle him? Yes, but I just think that to get to the handling part where you get him to play in football, it'll take too much energy and distraction for the team. So, and it's too much money. He's gonna want too much money. He's not gonna take nothing less than 20.
You definitely got a point. Oh, so what you leaning towards in the first round? I'm kind of like going off. Like I don't really want to go receiver first round because I'm scared. Mike and QJ.
I think I'll be satisfied with going with. I think we can get Booker in the second round, so I'm not like pressed to get Booker, either Jackson or Booker. And I think we can
Because you know
still
what?
sneak
We're ahead of the Texans and, the Rams. So it's like we could
Yeah.
probably get Tyler Booker from there.
Yeah, and I just looking like so now. Is Kenneth Grant available? Is James Pierce Jr. available? Do we get those? If they're available, we got to get them, and we can circle back with either Jackson or Booker the second round.
No, for sure. It's just that Texan game was so disgusting.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Man, they was running stunts. They was running stunts on the interior of the line like it was nothing.
And I'm like, why would y'all talking about switching a guard to center and then you re-sign Bozeman? Like I don't get it.
Boozman is a backup piece. When you look at his contract, once I seen his contract, I was like, oh, that's backup money. That is not starter money.
And again, it's better to go with depth than without it. So even if, like, let's say hypothetically right now with these guys that are still available, like if you went with Kevin Jenkins, or even if you went with like a David Andrews, who literally got cut, I could at least get a veteran in there who's been there, done that, and can work with, because then we can draft our next successor in that position and have him learned under somebody that's a Super Bowl champion and knows exactly what it means to be the voice of that offensive line, which that's not a bad idea either.
Jake, what you think about this? Ivan said trade for Andrew and start beefing up the O-line. Like Mark Andrews, I think he's talking about Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he's talking about Mark Andrews. Well, the thing is it has to depend on the value, because if you're going to trade for someone like Mark Andrews, it has to be worth the value. Because
I think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we're not going to trade some of our important stocks that we know we're going to want to address those in those rounds. So I think a lot of this is like the patient and waiting game, because are they going to drop their value to where it's affordable, or are they just going to release them? And that's even better because we don't lose any.
That's what I'm waiting on. What the Ravens are doing, the Ravens are seeing the market and they're trying to wiggle him for a trade piece for potential, like probably a fifth round from somebody. But I think teams are going to hold out and wait till he's cut, because they got to release him. There's no way they're going to pay him $18 million a year and still have Isaiah Likely. They're going to stunt Isaiah Likely's growth if they bring him back for one more year.
I mean, you just saw what happened with Cooper Kupp. They tried this with him. They tried to lower his value, and then eventually Les Snead said, well, we got nothing, so we're just going to cut him.
Yep.
Puka balling out.
I think they save $11 million if they cut him. But he's going to be they got to the 17th. They got to cut him. The decision got to be made 17th. So you might see a late Friday night
luck of the Irish, man. I would feel lucky if he literally gets cut and then all of a sudden he's affordable and we can get him at least for that.
And because he'll be an instant upgrade.
How you feel about the Evan Ingram thing?
When I see it, when I lay it out, I look at it like this. Evan Ingram, he wanted a lot of money. And I heard that we offered him, I don't know how true, we offered him the same contract that Denver offered him. But if I'm Evan Ingram and I have to choose between the Chargers and the Denver Broncos, I would go to the Denver Broncos for the simple fact that it's Sean Payton. And he's going to pass me the ball. If you know anything about Sean Payton, he throws the ball. It could be 4th and 1, inches on the goal line, and Sean Payton is going to throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball, and he loves a tight end down the seam. You seen what he did with Jimmy Graham. You seen what he did with Austin. I forgot his name. The guy he played for the Colts for a while.
Oh yeah.
Seen what he loves tight ends. Jeremy Shockey, all those tight ends. He will feed you. So Evan Ingram as a resurgence for his career, and he knows that I'm going to be a big part of this passing game, go with the Denver Broncos. So I'm not even mad at him. When you lay it out like that.
I think we have the idea, because it's like Evan Ingram was a very good option if came be it. Because we had the idea that we were going to get a receiving tight end. Because think about this. Could you have imagined it if we didn't move on from Gerald Everett and we still have our receiving tight end from there? It's like kind of that idea that we were going to end up bringing that back, because we know Disley is not going to be the guy with the trustworthy hands that's going to extend the field.
Is
But
Hurst still on the roster?
What's that?
Is Hurst still on the roster?
Yeah,
Do they
they're
pay
paying
him?
their-
No, he's a free agent.
He's gone now.
Yeah.
He's gone now.
Yeah.
He gone?
Yeah.
And I feel like because with both the Chargers and with Denver, I feel like they're so similar. Like they're taking a page off of each other. Because I know exactly how Denver's going to try to work this thing. They want to do a dual tight end set because even Sean Payton said he wants to find a joker. And what do you think that joker might be? You go and get Evan Ingram to go and get you the offensive hands and the first downs and maybe potentially a threat in the red zones. And then you're going to get somebody else. Like we've all watched the Patriots dual tight end set. I feel like that's being incorporated because also look who's even there available in the later round, Mason Taylor.
Yeah. And he's gonna, man, we cannot let Mason go to Denver. We cannot let Mason Taylor go to Denver, bro.
Dear God, no.
They talking like third round.
I'm gonna tell you right now that we have to block every attempt for Sean Payton at getting any solid pass catchers. That's one thing Sean Payton is great at, getting pass catchers, getting guys the basketball type bodies. Mason Taylor has that thin frame that he loves, and Mason Taylor has something that you can't coach. He has heart. He's a winner. He's a clutch player. He's gonna win. He's gonna win the jump ball, and he's gonna win those first down grabs.
Is it crazy for me to think, and I'm thinking about this hypothetically, well, what if Jim Harbaugh pulled a page from Bill Belichick? And let's say if we address this offensive line in the interior, we go and get Colson Loveland, right? Or even if you go and get Tyler Warren, and then you end up going and drafting Mason Taylor later on because you're trying to do a dual tight end set that's so physical and that's so talented on the. Could you imagine him pulling a page like that?
We just gotta hope at that point. We gotta hope Bo Nix just fails at quarterback. Seriously, like that's one thing I could tell you. Sean Payton is he can evaluate talent, and he will get you some receivers and some tight ends, and he will get you a speed. He loves a speedy guy. He loves a small, shifty Darren Sproles type of guy. He loves speed because he likes to bomb it downfield. He likes to soften you up with the tight end, have back screens, and then he likes to bomb it down the field. And then if he gets into the red zone, then he does the tight end, the dual tight end thing, and jump ball to the tight end, and it's touchdown. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
That's why we honestly got to take advantage of something like that.
Like Brodie, remember at the they should have gave me a headset when we played the Broncos because I was calling every play. Was I not, Brodie?
Oh yeah, you was locked in.
I was, because I've only watched Sean Payton coach the Saints for the last several years and studied them, and I was like, yep, he's about to pass here. He's gonna do a bootleg with him, right? Hit the tight end right under. Watch, sure shit, bootleg tight end. I'm like, I know his playbook, man. I know his style, and he doesn't change. Sean Payton does not change. Team changes, but Sean Payton doesn't. And you are right. He's gonna get 2 tight ends, and he's gonna
think about the defensive line signings.
I think they will serve their purpose. Like Jake said earlier, they will be the type of development like Poona Ford. Like I'm looking at Deshaun Hand, and I'm looking at his PFF, and I'm like, man. And I'm looking at Naquan Jones and just like, man, but I think they might fit the system.
I think you find a hidden gem right there with Naquan Jones.
We should have kept Poona Ford, but Poona Ford was a little expensive. It was a little expensive for his value. I feel like they didn't want to pay the value for him. Because if you think about it, he's short with long arms, which is unique, but he fit the system. So does he go to the Rams and fit the system? Because he fit nowhere else. Tennessee had a great year. Bills, he didn't do good. Jets, he didn't do good.
I think he could. I think he could almost serve like kind of like a scheme fit, like how Sebastian Joseph Day did what he was supposed to be. So I could see that to where he could stuff up the interior whenever that there's a run play. They're trying to attack up the middle because you complement well with Braden Fisk and then a couple others up on that front. So it's quite possible that that's what, Sean McVay's looking at.
Yeah. And think about this. I seen a clip from Jason Kelsey, and they talked about who were the toughest D tackles you had to go against. And he said Poona Ford was one of them. He said the reason why, he said Poona Ford is short with long arms. He's like, it's the fact that he's short and I can't get up under him, but his arms are so long to keep me away. And he was like, it was just so hard dealing with that guy. And he's like, he's strong as hell. So think of that level of devil in the details that coaches go to get those type of mismatches for players. Like understanding a coach seen that and was like, I could work with this and work with it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's gonna be interesting. It's still interesting free agency. It ain't over yet.
I'll tell you
Absolutely
what,
not.
somebody is speaking very, very highly about the Chargers. And I don't know if y'all know who. Colin Cowherd.
What'd he say?
He literally said, like, when he was talking with Danny Parkins, he was saying on his personal podcast at the Volume that he believes the Chargers can win the division. And the reason of it, and
We said that.
and of course, like, Tanny's like, did you tell Nick Wright about this yet? And he's like, I did, but you know him. He's just hearing static through his ears because, you know, Nick Wright. I always call him Nick Wrong for this reason because he's always writing KC every time. But he did point out a point that what Jim Harbaugh brings to the table is because he's so smart. He's been in college for so long that drafting personnel is like cake to him because he's seen a lot of these strong levels in college that he knows exactly the spots that he knows he can transform to be gentlemen playing in the NFL. And I think that's what's one of the biggest takeaways.
I'm excited, man. Draft. Got to look forward to the draft, man. I just need to see a notification come that says signed just one interior line.
It just said it, bro. Free agents. It's not over.
What is it, Bector?
Bector, that's nice.
We need to roll
He's a tackle player.
We need to roll like a 6-sided dice of interior line.
Yeah. Becton's nice because you know what? He's unique. He's a tackle that they transform the guard that has a nasty mean streak and plays tough like a guard. And like he could pull and everything. Like I don't even know why Philly didn't even extend him. Like I don't even understand why.
Yeah,
well,
that was
I
crazy.
kind of have an idea of it is because they were looking at positions of what can we fill in the draft and what we can't really replace, so we got to keep them. Because I talked about this earlier when it came to the whole Zach Bond and Josh Sweat and even with Milton Williams. Because you let both Milton Williams and Josh Sweat go because you knew they were expensive, but you're saved by a defensive front that's so talented. But the only position, like, can you name one linebacker that can change your defense immediately in this draft? That's why Philly looked at this and said, we can't find one in this draft. So we're better off to re-sign Zach Bond because you also have Jeremiah Trotter that you're trying to build up. And with Mekhi Becton, he's one person that, okay, if we've got Cam Jurgens and we've got Jordan Mailata and we got, these guys here, we can still fill in that gap of the interior. They have a better chance of filling in that gap than what we do currently because we need that one veteran piece that will help to simplify.
What does it say? War Chant Kingdom says he got a good question.
Yeah, War Chant, I know him.
This is our podcast. Don't taint it.
War Chant's good. Like he is the old school Kansas City Chief fan. Like he's old school.
For sure. What you got left? No.
What's that?
I said, what you got left?
Nothing. You bring War Chant up and then we can get up out of here. I know Jake is you in Denver.
Oh yeah, I'm in the mountain time.
I mean, you got anything left, my boy?
Shit, I mean, like this shit is
I feel like I've been the therapist in these last couple days right now for a lot of our Chargers. Respectfully.
Been trying.
You letting the corners work. You letting Fulton go to Kansas City. Fulton went to LA. Like this shit is.
Yeah, but think about this. We got a Chiefs killer. We got him back. Think about that.
I would have rather had.
We gotta believe. We gotta leave it up to the brains, man. Because I guess this is what when they started the Patriots dynasty. I'm pretty sure this is what Patriots fans went through. Like, what the hell? Who the hell are these guys? Who the hell are all these white guys that he's signing?
Yeah.
Like, what in the world? Like, yo.
And then
I gotta let Joe cook, man. I guess I gotta let
him cook.
Let him cook. Because I have you ever heard of any Patriots player going to another team and being a stud? I don't think I ever heard of another Patriot.
Danny a little bit. Danny Woodhead a little bit. Everybody else, not really.
Yeah, because they fit good. They fit the mold. They fit what Belichick needed. He sees what we can't. I mean, I think that's what Joe and Jim.
I just look at this and just being as real as I possibly. If you guys are reacting to this right now, right, and you're in this moment where this team's never going to, exceed the expectation that they should, then imagine we come months down the road and this team is winning the games, not only winning the games that they should, but then also improving the record of beating the teams that are above 500. And then it's like, how do you feel from then now?
Yeah. Winning careers off.
Yeah.
We forget about this.
Oh, yeah.
We delete the tape.
We would put this in the back burner.
Cut the tape. I never said that. I never said that. I never questioned
Herbert slander, though. It's the Herbert slander. That shit, that's what killed me the most.
I just want to protect Herbert. That's all I care about, bro.
Honestly, every QB they comparing him to, right? Look at his draft class. Everybody got weapons. Everybody got people put in position for them. Jalen Hurts himself, like, you plug and play, really? Because that team was built. It's plug and play. He was in
any quarterback behind that
2 years before he was there.
Well, I think the part of that is because Philly, when Jalen Hurts came in, he inherited that kind of offensive line with Jason Kelsey, and that's kind of the difference maker. I mean, how long have we been trying to figure that out? Like since Nick Hardwick was gone, and when we got Corey Linsley, when we got Corey Linsley, it was a breath of fresh air for us. We got a center, and so we got those. But it was like we still were not like quote unquote perfect on our offensive line. And yeah, we had weapons, but the problem of it was we did not have the quality protection to let those weapons thrive. That's the difference.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, either Keenan hurt, Mike hurt, then Austin Eckler just slowed down out of nowhere. And then you looking at his draft class specifically, Jordan Love had that one little half a season, but like everybody else had weapons surrounding him. Tua had Waddle, and then they went and got Tyreek. You know what I'm saying? They went and got A.J. Brown for Jalen Hurts. His rookie year, he wasn't doing nothing. And A.J. Brown did that. It's crazy. Second year. Joe Burrow, mind you, they drafted them, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he got them weapons. He got them out because you got, all right, Mike Williams a deep threat. Keenan Allen a route runner, but there's really no speed. There's no all around.
He needs to be developed.
He's a gadget, but he need to play more.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He's nice. It's just he need to play more. Instead of him just being a gadget. Like at times, I'm like, I'd rather him be in a game than Quentin Johnston. I can trust his hands more. I literally can trust his hands a little bit more.
I'm excited, man. We're gonna do something this year, man.
Yeah. Shoot. It's just that Herbert, that should be killing me, y'all.
Yeah.
Big trust.
Big trust. Have faith that this regime is seeing all that's in front of them and are making the right decisions they need to, that they know they're going to guarantee that this is the build we've been waiting for, the build we've been asking.
Take it easy, bro.
You too.
All right. What you got? Who you got, Brodie?
That's it.
Oh, did War Chant leave?
It's like 4 people still keep on waiting.
I want to call it a night, man.
Yeah, we like to spin the block tomorrow.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming through, Jake, man. Where can people find you?
People can find me wherever you guys get your podcast, and also on all social media platforms as well, on 2 different platforms. So one, you can find me at Chargers Fans Syndicate on YouTube, and that's where I post all of my daily news. I also do live streams as well to kind of break down a little more of free agency and so much more up on that. So check me out on YouTube, Chargers Syndicate. And also, you guys love sports, but you also love quality entertainment with the honest mindset of America's honesty mind every time when it comes to all sports talks. Check out the Snake Sports Talk Show as well. I always have, fiery takes that come in all the time, just to kind of give everybody an open mind and just to kind of understand some of these situations. Like, for instance, is Pittsburgh really for real, or is this a crash out ready to burn? No, or
crash out ready to burn. Yeah, 30 fights a game.
Exactly. So check it out. I'm all over Roku. If you guys have a Roku TV, check me out there. I'm also live there. iHeartRadio and all social media platforms for you to like, follow, subscribe, and wherever you guys get your audio podcast as well.
Sure. And the same. Thank y'all. Thank you for coming in, being a guest, man. Thank you for providing valuable insight and calming the fan base down. bringing out very, very keen observations.
Down.
Yeah, definitely. But as always, guys, thank y'all for being a part of the show. Thank y'all for tapping in, giving comments, feedback, like, share, subscribe. Again, we are all on all platforms. Help us get our YouTube channel up. We're over there as well. And anywhere you can get your podcast, this is where we replay the long form content of this show on every podcast platform that's out there. On that note,
Here.
out of here. Oh boy.
All right, y'all.
What's up, everyone?